Hello and welcome to another episode of Force for Growth Live. Grab your coffee, grab your water, grab your favorite morning drink, and join us for a lively
Yes.
conversation.
Yes. Got my coffee ready. And you know why? Because it's
Why?
hump day.
Oh,
It is hump day. So, hashtag hump over your hurdle. So, this is me getting ready to charge at everything I'm putting off for the week and get it out of the way and remind myself that done is the new perfect. And yeah, just jump over it. Just figure it out. Figure out the next step. Ask for help. Maybe that's the hurdle.
maybe that is.
So,
That's a big hurdle, especially
that is.
around the holidays for some reason. Why is it so hard to ask for help around the holidays?
Just there's so much assumption. So I guess assuming people are busy or tighter on money or tighter on time. And it's funny because it's not really only in the holiday season that it happens.
It's not.
Yeah.
People are
Which
busy all the time.
that does play into our topic today, which
It
people worry about
does.
it because they don't want to be judged.
Boom.
So, what is our topic today, Ricardo?
Today we're going to talk about judging the judgment.
Yes.
If you haven't figured out already, the topic today is judgment.
Mm-hmm.
And we're going to break it down. What do you got, Courtney?
It's a big one. This is it's such a huge factor that so many people don't realize. So it's so much more of a bigger deal than you think. And the reason I say that is because when you cast out judgments on other people, you are casting out your own insecurities. You're putting your own negative thoughts, old stories, patterns on other people who didn't ask for it. And, if you've ever heard an episode where we talked about self talk at all, that's a huge how you talk to yourself is everything. So if you're judging somebody, but you think it's right, or you think you have a right to have that opinion, maybe that is true, but most likely you are placing negative emotions on someone else and making yourself look very insecure. And then the
Mm.
other kind of sum it up way is okay, so if you point your finger at something, point your finger, how many fingers are you pointing back at yourself?
Ooh.
Yeah, you see where I'm getting at. So, when you are accusing somebody or judging somebody or pushing your own story on someone, you're actually giving more, three times the amount of energy to yourself. Three more fingers, three fingers, one finger versus three fingers. Okay. So, if you really step back and look at what you're doing when you cast that judgment, or when you're like, oh, why would anyone do that? Why would this? Why would we even have a tone? By the way, humans, we have a tone. We have a judgy tone. So watch your tone and figure out where you're having these thoughts, because when you think of judgment, you might think it's just the harsh judgments or the extreme judgments, but it's the daily average judgments that are holding you down, because those are the hard ones to see.
Question.
Yes.
What is the difference between a judgment and an opinion?
A judgment will be vocalized to someone else. Maybe it won't. I was going to say a judgment's vocalized, an opinion can be kept to yourself, but it's a more empowering way to say the same thing. I feel like it's a trick question. But what are your thoughts on this? I'm curious to hear your
I
thoughts.
I don't know. That's why I'm asking. Because sometimes I can justify a judgment by calling it an opinion.
Okay, so I guess is it the positive form of judgment? An opinion? Well, because opinion can also be negative, but
It can be. It could be a
can
very negative thing.
judgment be positive, or is
Well,
judgment always
okay,
negative?
listen to this. An opinion is a view or judgment formed around something, not necessarily based on fact or knowledge.
I like that. Okay, so judgment is under the hat of opinions, but it's not a healthy form of it. How
Correct.
about that? That's my official answer.
And then a judgment is the ability to make considered decisions or come to a sensible conclusion.
Mhm. Sensible. Sensible. Let's hone in on that word, sensible. Are you being sensible with your judgments? Or are you casting out unnecessary negativity?
Most of the
Period.
time, I would say no. I would say that the majority of the time, the judgments that you do have are not sensible.
Yeah, I agree.
Shane says judgments tend to have negative connotations. I agree.
That's a great point, Shane.
But
Yes.
based on the definition, if it's a sensible conclusion, then it's not necessarily negative. However, the trick is that when we make a judgment, that we justify it and we feel good about it and we make it sensible in our head. There you go.
Yeah, there you go.
It makes sense in our head, even though it
Mhm.
might not make sense in the reality, because the truth is we don't have all the facts and we don't really know what's going on. The reality is that we justify it and it makes sense and we make it sensible in our head.
Mhm. Why do you think we do judge? Like, what service does this offer us, or what good does this do for us as humans having that instinct, do you
It
think?
makes us feel better. It
Yeah.
makes us feel better. As bad as it is, and we don't condone it, and obviously this conversation is going to revolve around not having judgments and dealing with judgments. However, it makes us feel good.
Mhm. Yeah.
Because if you're judging someone for doing something that you're not doing, then it makes you feel better for not doing it.
Yeah. And Shane came back and said significance. I think that's you're making, when you judge somebody or something, whether you vocalize it to them or not, or to somebody else, because gossip falls in this, you are raising yourself up on a pedestal to reassure yourself that that's okay, or to reassure yourself you're doing a better job than that other person. So it comes from it means well, but that multiplied times 100 and times, however, whatever your age is right now, it's not a great pattern to follow.
It's not. We have a Facebook user in our group that says, justify RBS. So we don't only justify we just don't judge other people. We judge our own BS.
Mm-hmm.
And then we justify it.
Yeah.
Well,
And that's
I should really be waking up early. I should really be exercising. I should really be eating healthy.
According to who? Which these things might be right. I'm not arguing. It's just get to the root of, why are you so dead set that you should be doing this? You should have your life set up this way. And there's a lot of undevelopment that needs to happen, but also there are standards and things you need to follow, like drink more water, things that all of
However,
us
the
need.
judgment comes in when you don't do it.
Shame. I
The
would say the
judgment comes
judgment
in.
turns into shame.
Ooh,
Self-shame,
that's not good.
which is one of the biggest poisons.
That's not a good place to live.
Yeah.
A Facebook user in our group also says, nothing has any meaning except the meaning we give it.
Yeah. Amen to that. It's that when you step back and realize everything you feel about everything is the meaning your mind put to it based off your life experiences,
Yes.
based off things you've been through, based off things you haven't been through or you're scared of, or, etc. So your limitations can guide this, your great experiences can guide this, all of it can shape that. But then you come up to another person who has a completely different map and a completely different blueprint, patterns, you name it, culture, history, everything.
It doesn't work.
And then we sit there and judge them for not being like us. So it's,
Correct.
we really step out of the box where we can see the whole picture. It's really silly that we even, like, it's a bonus when somebody has something in common with you. Statistically, it's not common. So the fact that we place our judgments on people as if it is just something that humanity doesn't have right now.
Real quick, let's go to the comments. Shane says, are you using judgment as a rule that you set up versus facts?
That's a great question, Shane. Yeah.
The majority of the time, a judgment is not based on factual evidence. It's based on stuff that we're making up in our own head about the other person.
And it usually involves minimal evidence, like very little. You see one detail, or you hear this thing about this person.
I would also go out and say it's not a rule. It's an expectation.
Yeah.
That person shouldn't be doing that because I would never do that.
Right.
Give me a positive judgment, Courtney. Comment below. Give us a positive judgment. Are you capable of giving us a positive judgment?
The world is growing so rapidly right now, more than ever, okay, how should I phrase this? I know we're in a really awkward time. I know we are. But if you look at how fast we've been required to grow and how we're keeping up with it and how we are innovating and how we are changing industries to meet the pandemic world, you look at all of that, we're doing a great job. So the world is actually growing tremendously right now, more than we ever have cumulatively, even though a lot of, good with the bad. It's a lot of dark stuff we're seeing right now. But if you could take, step out of the box, look at the full picture, we're going to look back on this time and be proud of us.
Based on the definition, that's an opinion.
Yeah. That is. Okay. So, no, because I'm trying to think of it. Yeah. I don't know, that person's too nice. They're trying to, that it's not a judgment when I say that person's really inspirational, that person's really motivating, that person's
It's
really,
not.
Is a great mentor. All those are opinions, are not judgments. So
Correct.
I withdraw my answer. No.
So why is it when we say something positive / nice / uplifting about somebody, it's an opinion. However, when we say something mean, we call it a judgment.
One feels more authoritative. The word judgment feels more, I think it falls into the justification bracket of we're choosing a different term because it makes us feel more validated to play that role. And maybe it is a role we should play, maybe not. Usually not,
The thing is, I think where we need to get to is you have to judge the judgment.
Mm-hmm.
If you're judging somebody, let me go into Clueless Valley Girl. She really shouldn't be wearing that.
Yeah.
Then you judge that judgment. Well, why do I think that? Is that really true? Should I really be thinking that about her?
True. Yeah. Which,
right?
If you do the work and you do the steps, the Byron Katie steps in that moment, you're gonna. It's you you're talking to. You're not really talking about another person, but that's a spoiler. You can follow her 4 steps and do the work with Byron Katie. But have you ever heard, I forget who said it, but if you're either really frustrated with somebody or fascinated by somebody, it's because you recognize a similar trait in yourself.
Oh.
That's why they trigger you, because you don't like that about yourself, or you secretly love that about yourself, but you haven't discovered that. It's just in your subconscious. It hasn't come to your conscious mind yet.
Wow. Real quick, we got a Facebook comment. Because judgment comes from fear, which isn't real, but rather an illusion. The only reality / truth is love.
That's good. That is good. Yeah. And yeah, because an opinion can have love.
So if judgment is based on fear, that means it's kicking in because we feel threatened, which means that we have to protect ourselves from whatever it is that we're judging.
Mm-hmm. So we put out our little peacock feathers and we, I forget that term, but, we get all perked up and ready to show off if we need to just stand our ground or make sure that person knows your value.
So let me ask you this. Let me flip this right quick.
Yeah.
Does it matter when people judge you?
No.
It shouldn't.
Greatest test of your life.
Here's the question. We know it shouldn't matter. We know we shouldn't care what other people think. But the reality is that we do. We do. We care what people think.
Mm-hmm.
Should we? No, that's for another conversation. Should we? Is it right? We need to be our own whatever, right?
Mm-hmm.
But people judge you all the time. People are judging us right now.
Yeah.
Right now, this very second, people are scrolling through their feed, listening, and making a judgment about us. Oh, Courtney and Ricardo got it totally wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Ricardo and Courtney are right on point.
Yep.
Courtney and Ricardo have no idea what they're talking about.
Yep. Which it's interesting. When you're resistant to anything or when you're defensive for any general thing, that's all a sign there's growth right there. I can't tell you what that means, whether that means charge at this, run away from it, do something with it in your life. But if that feeling is coming up and you need to judge the judgments, you catch yourself, step back. It's like a breadcrumb trail to something you're about to grow through. And if you push through, there's going to be reward on the other side. That's why there's difficult, heavy emotions involving it, because there's going to be a reward if you fix it. But it's so hard to recognize in the moment because we are so conditioned to justify this and to make it okay.
We make it okay to talk. We make it okay. Oh, my dog is right here. Oh, there she is. We make it okay to talk about people.
Mm-hmm.
We make it okay because we think it's harmless.
Yeah.
If we see something going on Facebook, or we see something and we make a snap judgment, we think it's harmless. We think it's not hurting anybody. Because why? Because we're not voicing it to somebody. Because we're not voicing it out loud. Because we're keeping that judgment in our own head when we look at it on Facebook.
Yeah. But the thing to highlight there is that you're still thinking it. You're still feeding the pattern.
Yes.
By getting on Facebook and getting super judgy and getting into comparison mode and, oh, look at that. Boo-hoo. Like, get over it. Like, if you wake up, lists of 101, if you wake up every morning and get on Facebook, you're priming yourself to be in a judgmental zone. You're priming yourself to compare yourself to others naturally, not in an empowering way. But maybe instead wake up and start making a list of 101 things that you are special for, that you are unique for, that you are good or bad. You can put bad stuff on this list, but I just want to give you a tool to train your brain to focus on where you're unique, because just this whole FOMO and copy and paste lifestyle and just assuming everyone should be like you, like, y'all, that's not a fun world. I don't want to live in that world. It's just a lot more fun the other way. And yeah, I mean, sometimes judgments come at you like a dagger. Sometimes they're laughable.
The judgments come into comparison. Shane just said comparison mode says it all.
Mm-hmm.
Comparison mode says it all. When you make a judgment, like, why are they doing that?
Why do you care?
Or how about the next level of judgment? This is second level. Are you ready for the second level of judgment?
Yes.
I could do it better, but I don't want to.
And then we justify.
If I really wanted to, I could. If I really wanted to, I could do it so much better and be so much more successful than they are about it. But I don't really want to, because I don't have the time. I don't have the energy. So it's okay. But what's the truth, Courtney?
The truth is, it's not okay. You had that thought for a reason. You had that feeling for a reason. And you need to do something with it. We get so caught. Okay, so justification. If you're justifying something, that is automatically the ego trying to talk your body or brain out of doing what it already knows it should do. So exactly what Ricardo just said. This thing pops up. Oh, I should do this. I could do this better. I should. And all these justifications as to why you're too busy to take this on right now, or why you're too busy to this, or why you're too. The original gut feeling that was sent to you was that inkling that I could do that better. That was the green flag you need to pay attention to, or the red flag, depending on what situation. But that's the message that it was the one that came within the first few seconds. It was powerful. It got your attention. And then within 3 to 5 seconds, like clockwork, because this is what your brain does, your ego does, in 3 to 5 seconds, your ego will do its best to start talking you out of it, because your brain only has 2 jobs: 1, to keep you alive, and 2, to look for patterns. So if ever you've said, oh, I could do that better, and you never did it, your brain's going to remind you, yeah, well, you never do what you say you're going to do anyway. Or if you have gotten up and tried something, your brain's going to remind you, yeah, you said that once and you failed. Remember how embarrassing that was?
Is that how your brain talks to you, Courtney?
Yeah. And I'm just here to remind you, and we are here to remind you that it doesn't matter. The justification is just a trick to hold you back from growth. It sounds crazy, but pay attention to what you're justifying. Kyle Cease on the first thing I ever saw him on Impact Theory. He talks about like some comedian poster and he pulls it out and he hadn't had children yet, or he was contemplating to get rid of this amazing poster of his own Comedy Central special. You know, everyone comedian wants one of those. And he was like, oh, I should keep that for my kids and give that for my kids. And then he talked through this dialogue where he's like, his body knew he didn't want to keep it. He wanted to get rid of it. He's moved on from that career. And so he just talked through like, when you want to keep something physical, you have the memories. You don't need to hold time and space and, you know, parts of your life for this thing in the past you've already gotten rid of.
So you're judging yourself for not throwing it away. You're judging yourself for keeping it around.
And that's a new, because clutter and things materials are an easy way, because we really justify keeping things. Oh, what if I need this one day? What if this? What if this? What if I forget? Whatever. Like, whatever.
So, hold on. Does every justification follow a judgment?
Yes and no. Yeah. I would say justifications come into play more than just judgments, but yeah, I would say they do come into play together.
They come side by side.
Yeah, because you can justify good things and still be falling into that trap, but that's more opinion talk, not judgment talk.
Ooh, that's a great distinction.
Yeah, but justifications will follow some type of judgment, whether to you or to yourself. And that's the whole point, is you need to start seeing this, start paying attention.
That's why we're saying judge the judgment.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Why am I thinking this? Does this really matter? Is that really true about that person? Is that really true about me?
Yeah. Is this really me talking right now? Or is it just a voice in my head? If you struggle with this, do pick up The Untethered Soul. Do pick it up. Get it on Audible. That's one of my go-tos. I was about to say, do I have it in reach? I do have it in reach. I'm not going to grab it, but anyway, I have it right here. And yeah, I listen to it on Audible This is just like a good background music for me, because I often need something kind of low, real quiet. And so books that I've loved and I've read that you can, do it like 2 times the speed or something are nice.
We need to do an episode on a book.
Okay.
We need to do an episode on a book.
Okay.
That's what we have to do. We need to pick a book and do an episode on the book.
Should it be one of our favorites? Y'all tell us. Should it be one of our favorites or
something totally new?
Something new that y'all think we should both read. Yeah, we're open to it.
We don't know. Yeah, something that we don't know anything about. You know what? We should read the Matthew McConaughey book.
I got it on Audible. Here's the justification. Okay, so I'm the type that loves hardcover, like paper cover too, but a book in hand. I've never been able to get on the Kindle train. I can't. Sorry. I'm reaching for a book to get off my phone, not stay on it. Right. So anyway, so I waited a while to get on the Audible train because I kind of associated it with Kindle and was like, well, I don't like reading a book on my device. So anyway, so finally downloaded Audible, etc. And I forget what book it was like 2 weeks ago, but I was like, I went to go buy the real book. And then I looked at it on Audible and I was like, are you kidding me? I'm not even going to get the real book. I'm not going to read it. I'm going to get it on Audible. I actually listen to it there. I actually have time to listen to it. And so it was a justification, but Judge the Judgment. I had to take a step back and realize you're not actually going to read this if you purchase the real book. It's not going to be an efficient purchase for you. What will be an efficient purchase for you is the Audible, because you're going to actually listen to it. So you're not always going to.
So were you judging yourself? Were you judging yourself?
Yeah, because I was like, you're never going to read this. Are you kidding me? Why are you buying another book? Okay, like whole nother subject. I'm a hoarder, but of knowledge to be attained.
Was that a judgment or a criticism?
Yeah, I think it's a judgment, because I was telling myself I wasn't going to read something before I gave myself the opportunity to read it. So I was giving the outcome ahead of time. I don't know, is that a judgment or that? I want to say yes, it is. And I could have self-shamed. Old Courtney would have sat there and been like, yeah, and just stopped. I wouldn't have thought about Audible as an option. That's my point, is I wouldn't have been resourceful. I would have judged myself, shamed myself, not purchased the book, moved on, and continued probably judging myself and shaming myself all across my day. Whereas now I've trained myself to, okay, well, what are some tools to help me with that? Do I have access to those tools? Do I need to buy them? Do I need to call somebody and ask? Da-da-da-da-da. You have a toolbox. So I would say that's the difference. I do think it was, but what's
A criticism is the expression of disapproval of someone or something based on perceived faults or mistakes.
Perceived faults and mistakes? It's the powerful part of it.
Criticism sounds so harsh, though.
I was going to say criticism. Yeah. So the word perceive makes me like, you could perceive something and criticize it and learn that was not even accurate. So why even
Correct.
waste your freaking energy on it? Come on. Like, what are you doing with your life? Like,
So what if we spend most of the time? What if we spend most of our time criticizing and justify it by just calling it a judgment or an opinion?
I think we do. Yeah.
Because
I'm
we don't
thinking-
want to be criticizing. That's just that I don't criticize.
Yeah.
I'm just voicing my opinion.
I'm better than that. I don't do that. Those are judgments. That's what we're talking about.
That is
See how
exactly
easy
what-
they roll off the tongue?
It rolls like I think it rolls off the tongue so naturally, and we don't even feel bad about it anymore. I think that's a bigger
Yeah.
concern is the fact that we don't feel bad when we judge.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
We don't feel bad about it anymore.
And
It's commonplace. You scroll around Facebook, you see someone even wearing something.
yeah.
She shouldn't be wearing that. Why is she taking that picture? Why is she putting that picture? Why is she putting that filter on that picture?
Yeah. That's why I stay off Facebook often is I'll catch myself getting into, if I am scrolling and I catch myself judging and casting these, why's she doing that? Why is she still with that man? Like blah, 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 like all these thoughts. I got to stop. I got to stop getting on as much.
Criticisms. Those are criticisms.
And stop the gossip. Oh, can we bring that up for just a second? Stop gossiping. Number one, if someone gossips to you, you can bet money that they're gossiping about you to other people. Okay. If they're bringing you dirt about other people, they're doing it to others with your info and your private details as well. Like, what good does it do?
None.
Like, I'm sorry. Has gossip ever helped any of us ever?
Nope.
I'm sure there's an exception to that rule somewhere, but no. So
Gossip
please
sounds
stop.
fun. Gossip sounds fun when the fact is it's that you're judging and then trying to share that. Sharing that gossip is sharing the poison.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It wasn't good enough that you're poisoning in yourself by having that gossip or even thinking that. But the fact that you have to like find someone to go talk to about it really quick. Ooh, I got some good poison here, Courtney. Here.
Yeah. Yeah. And people eat it right up. They eat it right up. There's one friend that it's still every time we talk, it's, oh, well, here's what happened over my last month. And I caught myself because I want to hear the juicy details. I want to hear about that complete, mess of a show over there that just is still just whatever. You can't make this type of stuff up. But I had to have a moment with her where I told her I can't talk about this type of stuff anymore because then it makes me want to battle. I think Grace Spees is the one who said it, but women especially relate on the lowest common denominator. Hear me out. It's where when a girl's having a bad day and it's like, oh, I'm going through this. You wouldn't believe this. And that other person's like, oh, well, guess what I'm going through. And it's like this tit for tat game for who's having the worst life right now. And especially women will do that. So it's with gossip, it's with everything. But you just pay attention because you're literally giving away your power or you're giving away poison. So, I mean, I want to be a worker of light. I don't want to be I never want to be responsible for somebody ever not pursuing their dreams because of something I said and something I might never remember, something I didn't even realize made that kind of impact on somebody. I will never be that person, or that's my goal in life. So hopefully I follow that course. But you don't know what your words do to people and you don't know how much they hurt. But you can change that and you can turn that around, and it starts with you and your self-talk. So 99% of what we're talking about is how you talk to yourself. Yes, we do mean be kind to other humans and don't spread the poison. But the self-talk is so important. It's your judgments, your self-criticism, your self justification that you need to wake up to. And it's so much bigger. Anyway, sorry, getting kind of on a tangent, but
Jesse says, preach, Court, preach. And then
I
she
love
also
you.
says, I think girls do that. They haven't grown up to a woman yet,
Mm-hmm. Which the
which is
phrase
true.
that Jesse and I, and it's Allison Armstrong's work. Whew, just, Allison Armstrong, be your queen. Don't be that princess. It's okay to be a princess growing into a queen. It is okay to grow and to learn and to make mistakes. Don't stay in your princess. Be a queen. And if you're intrigued by that, look up Allison Armstrong or just, I'm sorry, The Queen's Code. The Queen's Code's a book.
Yep. And I will say, I'll say this. When you judge, you're poisoning yourself. When you gossip, you're poisoning in other people.
That's good.
Don't spread the poison. Spread love.
It stops here.
Stops
Somebody
here.
brings you poison, maybe don't serve it to your whole family.
I think the key here is when you judge and criticize, you don't share it with the person. When it's actually positive feedback on what you see that is going on with them, then it turns into something else.
Yeah.
But if you keep it to yourself and then you talk about them behind their back, it's a judgment, it's criticizing, it's not good. But if you actually take the time to tell them so they can be a better person, that's something different.
Yeah. Actually helping people grow versus
Not
talking smack about them behind their back. Like, come
it's
on.
not good.
What kind of human do you want to be?
It's so easy but it's hard to talk to them about stuff.
It is. And it will always be. Like,
It's
sorry,
never
we
gonna
don't have a
change.
trick to say, hey, this will make that easier for the rest of your
Nope.
life. Nope.
It's going to be hard. But those hard conversations are the ones that are the most appreciated by the other person on the receiving end.
Mm-hmm. And your heart knows how to approach it. You might have to sit
does.
quiet, but your heart, like, give yourself some time. You'll figure out how to approach it.
Yep. Well, that's it, Courtney. I think we're
Yes.
done for the day.
I think so.
I think we gave we dropped a lot here for people to think about.
Judgment. Yeah.
And we'll be back on Friday. It's
Yeah.
Date with Destiny week. The week of December 2nd. It's Date with Destiny week. So I'm crewing Date with Destiny. Excited for that. And I'll be reporting some of the stuff here maybe on Friday. No,
Yeah.
it starts on Friday. But
It starts on Friday. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, we're registering today and
So
tomorrow.
we'll get the post-training pre-event update.
Post-training pre-event update, yes.
Yes.
Make sure you like and subscribe to the audio. Make sure you like and subscribe to the audio version. You can visit
forceforgrowth.com and find us on all platforms, pretty much. But yeah, any of your favorite platforms. And yeah, send us some feedback. Share this if it resonated, or send it to somebody who it could help. But we appreciate
Yes.
each and every one of you. Thank you.
And we'll be back on Friday.
Yes.
Bye.
Bye.